Hi guys, this video is to introduce and explain about a volatility strategy. This volatility strategy is to take advantage of a stylized effect, the inverse relation between VIX volatility index and S&P 500. You may know what VIX means. VIX is the volatility implied in 30-day maturity at the money call and put option prices whose underlying asset is S&P 500, because these option prices is representing the 30-day maturity, and that is believed to be implying market expectation or anticipation about the S&P 500 direction and performance over the next 30 days. We believe that up to some level, we can take advantage of this forward-looking information implied in VIX, because VIX is implied volatility of 30-day maturity option prices for S&P 500. Let me give you some more example about this stylized effect inverse relation. And for your information, I got all data from Yahoo Finance, and all data analysis and graph are done with Python. And you can easily Google and find a Python script from Google or ChatGPT. And Python is a freeware, so you don't need to pay anything from your pocket. And also the Yahoo Finance data is free, so you can make this graph yourself without any cost, but only your time. Yeah, and this is the graph for January 2025 to mid-May 2025, showing the overlapping or comparison between S&P 500 values and VIX values, right? If you look at the early April, there was President Trump announcement. He called Liberation Day, and he announced reciprocal tariff that was causing market to crash over the next 7 days until he announced his course reverse. Anyway, interesting thing I want to show you is the left-hand side y-axis in red is S&P 500 values, and right-hand side in blue is VIX. When VIX is 45, it means annualized volatility index 45%, which is annualized value. The interesting thing here is it looks like some mirror image. They are really reciprocal each other. I mean, when S&P 500 is going down, VIX is coming up. When VIX hit the peak here, then S&P 500, there is some time lagging a few days. And S&P 500 hit the bottom and recover, then VIX comes down, then suddenly VIX shoot up after the announcement, and market crashed it. And market hit the bottom and began recovering a little bit, then coming down again, then continue recovering until yesterday. And you can see that VIX is mirror image and moving the opposite direction to the S&P 500. So, wow, this is a stylized fact with inverse relation. But if this style of inverse relation is observed in other period, other economic credit cycles, then we can call it as a stylized effect. Let's compare another cases. This is from January 2022 to December 2022. As you know, Fed began increasing rate, very aggressive, steepest and most aggressive in such a short time in the US history, right? Again, right-hand side in blue is VIX, volatility index, annualized percentage unit, and left-hand side red is S&P 500. Again, when market up, down, VIX down, up, right? They move almost the opposite direction. Again, reciprocal relation, again, inverse relation. Now we saw this strong negative inverse relation between VIX and market in 2022 and 2025. What about the other period? Yeah, And from late February to late March 2020, there was a shock from coronavirus spread. We call coronavirus recession or COVID-19 recession from early March to late April. So there was 2 months shortest recession. It's man-made artificial recession because government order shut down many restaurants or stores, right? So GDP went down a lot, maybe by maybe 20%, 30%, GDP growth minus 30% annualized, right? Anyway, important thing here is that, when S&P 500 began crashing, VIX began jumping up. And when VIX hit the bottom, hit the peak, a few days later, S&P 500 hit the bottom, right? And VIX began coming down to around 20%, and S&P 500 began recovering very aggressively. And also, if you take a careful look at like this, again, there is still a reciprocal, the inverse relation, and this inverse relation is holding across this time period. And also, if you look at closely a few, some shorter time period like 2020 June or say July, or 2020 March, mid-March to late March, this reciprocal behavior, the inverse relation is still holding. What about the other case? This is 2008 to 2009. There was a subprime mortgage crisis, and Lehman Brothers filed for bankruptcy September 15, 2008. And interesting thing here again is, we see VIX and S&P 500, the market proxy, is behaving the opposite direction. So based on these multiple inverse relations we observe across many different time points and also across many different the credit and economic cycles, now we call it a stylized effect. So taking advantage of this proven and strong negative relation between VIX and S&P 500, which were observed and they found to be confirmed to be holding very robust, stable across many different time periods and over the many credit cycles. Now we have some idea, we can take advantage of this inverse relation. I call it volatility strategy. So if you are interested in that, and if you are willing to stay in the market, even when VIX is very high, and when everybody else wanna escape from the market and hiding for the safety haven, like a cash, maybe then may be the good time to go into the market. Otherwise, very, very difficult to make extra profit. Very, very difficult to generate alpha, which is excess market return. Hopefully this video is useful for your investment strategy. Thank you very much. And if you find it interesting and useful, and don't forget to click the button, subscribe, like, and also alert and spread to other people. Thank you very much. Bye.